Yeah, but I'll just lift it.
This is our largest fundraiser for the year. So it's really important that we stress that our financial need to each of you. We do have got some due recently that Governor's Crime Commission, which only is about $27 million from the federal government to distribute to folks throughout the state. Their budget's been cut by about 87% this year, so we anticipate our funding from them being cut down from like $110,000 to $10,000 basically. So we've got a big shortage with what we're expecting at the Governor's Crime Commission. So anything you can do, large or small, any amount you can contribute with the auction or through this QR codes on the table would be greatly appreciated. We do have other fundraisers coming up at the end of the year. We're having our second annual Festival of Trees here at the Convention Center. And if you would like to buy a tree, have it decorated by yourself or your business, or we'll decorate it for you, that'd be a great opportunity to help us raise some money. And then in the spring, we're having our first annual 5K, March 22nd at JC Park. We're also going to have a pickleball social out at the Pickleball Club at some point in the spring. So lots of opportunities to help us out. Your funding is what is the key to keeping our staff able to help all the clients that we help out through Washington County, Martin County, and Pitt County. So anything you can do would be greatly appreciated. And this year, we're very excited that we had all these sponsors step up this year to sponsor our luncheon. First of all, the Community Foundation of NC East. We really appreciate you folks being the main sponsor this year and helping us get our awesome speaker who we're hearing from today. Our presenting sponsor from the past couple of years was unable to do that this year. We really appreciate y'all stepping up and doing that for us this year. Our other sponsors, Purple and Gold Rentals LLC, Grady White Roads, Town Bank, Chesson Real Estate Group and Liz Freeman Team, DC Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, Evans Street Properties, the Greenville City Council, IO Creator, Jefferson Group, KDL Construction LLC, Christy Ferguson Homes at Ebony Realty, Physicians East, Greenville OBGYN, Rusty and Patsy Duke, Half Mills Group, Boyd's Carpet, and there's some good friends of mine here at County Courthouse, Ferris Dixon District Attorney, and Sarah Beth Wolf for Rose Clerk at Superior Court of Pitt County. So I want to thank all those folks for stepping up and helping us put on this great event. And now, may I have one of our great board members, Richard Allsworth, making an announcement about the auction.
Good morning. I love it. And you don't see yourself, you look beautiful. It's great. So good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for the 2024 Domestic Violence Impact Luncheon. Again, like Glenn said, the presence here today is crucial in our fight against domestic violence. So I'm going to tell you about the silent auction. This is an overview of what's happening outside your door here. I'm excited to announce about our silent auction again, which is a key part of today's event. So you can access the auction using the QR code on your table. So if you're not smartphone savvy, you can join me and try to figure it out together, but just turn your smartphone on, go to your camera, and take a picture of that QR code, and that will link you to our auction. So simply scan that QR code and you'll be able to browse and bid on amazing items. Don't worry, if we miss it on the table, the auction will also be displayed on the screen behind me. So be ready to see that pop up from time to time. The bidding process, again, feel free to visit the auction table at your convenience throughout the luncheon. And just a reminder, the silent auction will close promptly at 12 noon. So be sure you place your bids before the end. For those interested in specific items, we have those same little QR codes available at each item on the table, so you can place your bid directly should you walk through and look at those items. Claiming your items is something to think about. Once the auction concludes, bring your confirmation email of your winning bid to the auction table. And again, remember, we'll have someone from staff there. Please refrain from taking your items off the table. Our staff definitely will be there to assist you in collection of your winnings. So if you're not able to pick your items up today, obviously we're going to take those back to the Family Violence Prevention Office. And please try to have those picked up, if you don't mind, by October 4th at 5 p.m. If after that day, any unclaimed items will be considered a donation to the center. So how about that? So get your winnings, don't forget about them, and please come to the center if you don't have a chance to pick your winnings up today. Again, this is a call to action. By your participation in our silent auction, you're helping us in the mission to end the cycle of domestic violence. Your support makes a real difference. Thank you again for your generosity and for you standing with us in an important cause. Let's make this auction a success. Thank you very much.
I give you all the Ferris Dixon, Pitt County Attorney. I would ask if you would just bow your head. Heavenly Father, we praise you for the wonderful mercy we get, and we give you thanks for the food you've furnished for our bodies. We ask that you bless the hands that are prepared for us and that are serving us today. And we implore you to give strength and healing to all those affected by domestic violence. We remember in our thoughts and prayers those touched by a leak, and we ask that you would grant them grace. And in all things, we acknowledge your might and power, and ask that you would continue to guide our lives. In your mighty name, amen.
I hope you all like to enjoy your lunch. Some time of sharing and visiting. I'd like to take this minute to share that we appreciate Sheriff Olive Dance and the Pitt County Sheriff's Office. They did host a table and sponsor toward the event, and they were unfortunately left off the announcement and the program, so we apologize for that, and I just want to extend our appreciation to you all for that. In reflecting why we exist, I thought a lot about that, and when you ask that question, there's a lot of things that come to your mind. I could stand here and recite our mission statement, which you have in the materials in your bag. I could stand here and I could recite to you some data, local and national. I can share with you that 1,361 people contacted the Center for Family Violence Prevention last year. I could say that 43 million victims across the country who disclosed they were victims. The economic impact of that over their lifetime is $3.6 trillion. I could share a lot of statistics with you this evening, but instead of doing that, I want to share a story. So bear with me. There was a woman who was employed professionally. She walked into her office one day, and her face had bruises all over. And she had bruises on her arms. And she quickly went into her office. There was an employee, coworker, that happened to notice her and noticed the bruises on her face and on her arms. And the coworker got up and she went into the woman's office. And she asked her what had happened with her. thinking that she must have been in an accident of some sort. The woman was very embarrassed, very scared, and sobbing, described her to her coworker. The coworker responded, as I think most of us would. You have got to leave that situation. And you have got to get out of that situation and get help. Several weeks went by, and the woman every day went into the office, and every day would have a similar day that she had had every day. And one day, this woman decided to walk forward in bravery and mustered up the courage to make a call to the Center for Hand-Eye Hospitals. When this woman was greeted over the phone, as soon as that staff person picked up the phone, the woman's journey to health and healing started. From the minute a person contacts the Center for Family Violence Prevention, whether they walk in the door or they pick up the phone and they call, their journey starts toward healing, toward freedom, toward safety. Each person, this victim, walking through the door or contacting our office, every single victim receives a ray of light, hope, and information and help that will bring her to a place of safety, freedom, and to live a life that she was meant to live. These frontline dedicated staff at the center are critical to the woman's safety and healing. This woman, she was broken, beaten, afraid, confused. The center was there to bring healing and hope and a ray of light to her. For some victims, ongoing counseling provides the support that they need to deal with the abuse and heal emotionally. Our counselors are dedicated staff who meet with survivors, Hispanic, English-speaking, survivors who need someone to come alongside of them. The loss of that resource would be devastating to the victims coming for help. For some victims, the shelter is their safe place. We have been very fortunate to continue providing shelter services every single year since our shelter opened so many years ago. While the funding has decreased at federal, state, local levels, we have found ways to keep that shelter going. Many years ago, we ran an appeal, and the community stepped up to help us. Victims today, with their children, those that have children, coming into the shelter, receive a very safe, calming, beautiful building and place to lay their head. Why we exist? We exist for every single victim. in Pitt, Barton, and Washington counties that needs safety, that needs protection, that needs counseling, that needs children's services, that needs shelter. We exist for every single community resident in all 3 counties to make sure that our communities are healthy, that our residents are safe. We exist to make sure that our leaders have the information that they need in order to protect us, in order to provide the services that community residents need. Please look deep inside yourself, and as Glenn said when he began this program this morning, any amount helps. Certainly any amount helps. It's my honor and pleasure right now to introduce Melissa Stain. She's from the Communities Foundation of North Carolina, and she will introduce our speaker this morning.
Good morning, or good afternoon now. Welcome. And we thank everyone for being here so much. I'd like to offer a special thank you today to our Community Foundation of North Carolina East Regional Board of Trustees, a number of my board members that are here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Mary Robb, our board chair, Cindy Prasad from Raleigh. Thank you for being here. Walter Bolden, our donor services manager, Charlene Silver. Thank you for all that you do for the foundation. And I especially want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our police chief, Ted Sauls. Chief, thank you so much. I'd like to recognize you in this incredible outpouring of support from the Greenville Police Department today. It warms my heart to see you surrounded by members of your team. Here's another full table from the Greenville Police Department. I'd like to also thank our Sheriff, Paula Dance, for being here today, and members of her team as well. We know that first responders and the responsibility that they have and the partnership with these organizations to help with this fight that we fight every day against domestic violence really could not do what we do with impact without our first responders, and we really thank you for your partnership. In the past 25 years as the CEO of our foundation, I've had the privilege to work closely with our Center for Family Violence Prevention, advocating and championing the significant role that they have played in our community. I cannot begin to express the impact that we have seen over that 25 years, that our Safe House, our Family Violence Prevention Center, and the Domestic Violence Hotline have played in saving lives as well as helping restore life to many women and girls in need. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and what an amazing way for all of us to place our minds, hearts, and support around the lives of all who are affected. Domestic violence is an epidemic. It affects people in all communities, millions of Americans across our nation, with devastating consequences for survivors, families, and their surrounding communities. In North Carolina, 35% of women and 30% of men experience domestic violence and stalking in their lifetimes. Let's listen to that number again. 35% of women and 30% of men will experience domestic violence and stalking in their lifetimes. We also know that domestic violence can involve physical, emotional, financial, and emotional abuse. Everyone deserves to live free from the fear of violence, especially in their own homes. Today, I invite each of you to join me as we continue to offer our support to each and every local and regional organization that is working incredibly hard to provide education on domestic violence prevention and empowering change through a strong network of resources. I am incredibly proud to know that the Community Foundation of NC East has provided grant funding totaling more than $130,000 in our 25-year history to our local nonprofits, including the Center for Family Violence Prevention, NC Stop Human Trafficking, and Daughters of Worth, all of whom are so very critical in helping us bring an end to this crisis that we have faced for much too long. We extend our gratitude and deepest appreciation today to each and every one of you who are helping us lead these efforts.
So much. I think most people had never heard a story like you should. They don't understand. And what I want you to understand today is that the people in this room who work with domestic violence victims, who work with accusers, who work with the children that witness this, see this every day. This is what they're dealing with. This is what it is in our community. And this is what we need to deal with. Most people, like I said, don't understand that. And it's hard to talk about it. It's something we don't discuss. We don't go out to lunch with our girlfriends to talk about people being burned and who have their feelings broken. It's not a pleasant subject, and we ignore it. We don't talk about it. We don't go to dinner with friends and talk about sexual coercion and abuse for sexual coercion. We don't talk about financial abuse in friends that we see and know. If we become aware of the situation or expect that there's a situation, we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to act. We don't know whether to talk about it. And we tend to ignore it. We might talk about it to somebody else, but we don't address and reach out to the victim. Domestic violence is the elephant in the room. I want you to understand something. When Melissa got up a while ago and mentioned 35% of the women in this country are abused in their lifetime. 30%. Those are numbers. But we're talking about people. And so I want you to help me with this. I would like volunteers. I'd like 3 people at every table. There's a steamboat. Just go to say. So let's look around the room. This is a pretty small group, all things considered. I don't want you to look at the faces of these people. That's not important for this demonstration. I want you to look at the numbers. And I want you to look at the numbers of people who are standing up compared to the number of people sitting down. Statistically, these could all be domestic violence victims. Imagine if it was in a larger group, maybe your Sunday congregation at your church. How many would be standing if we did a percentage? What if you went to an ECU football game and we did the same exercise in the stadium? How many people would that be? And then you think about those people as people we know. What if one of these people standing up who was a victim was your mother, or your grandmother, or your sister, your best friend, your coworker? What if one was your brother? What if one was you? What kind of help would they get? What would we want to do for them? What would we want to reach out and make that go away for them and to keep them safe? I can sit down now. I want you to see this and think about this. Last year, our organization provided service to 1,391 victims from our community. And our community for our organization is Pitt, Martin, and Washington counties. We provided safe shelter, legal services, food, medical assistance, counseling for adults and children. We provided rent and utility deposits for victims who were escaping to try to set up their own new home. We provided clothes for victims from our store, My Sister's Closet. These services were all free to those clients. But those services aren't free. All of those services have to be paid for. Today's event is to raise money to continue those services, and today we seek your donations to help us with these services, to continue the work of our organization and to save victims in our community. So I want you to think about three things. I want you to think about what you've heard and learned today. The information you got and the perspective you got on domestic violence that you may never have had before. I want you to take it to heart. I want you to think about what you've heard and allow that to help you in dealing with other people in the community or people that you know that are victims. I want you to learn to speak out. The old see something, say something adage that we hear in schools and other places about other crimes. This is also a crime. And if you become aware of a situation, don't just sit back and worry. Speak up. You might embarrass a victim, but it's not the embarrassment that will kill her or you. You need to offer your support to let those victims know that you're there, and now you know about the Center for Family Violence Prevention, and you can lead them to our kind of help, the kind of help that keeps people safe. You can also give. I'd like you today to reach into your wallet, your pocketbook, and give. Glenn mentioned that our federal funding has been cut. It has been cut seriously. And we need the help and the increased support from our community. Together, let's work as a community. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Let's get domestic violence out of our community. On your table are, in little bags, are donation cards and an envelope. If you care to donate today, we certainly appreciate that. You put your donation in the small envelope, and then there's a large envelope on the table for everybody at the table to use, and you just drop it in there discreetly. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening. We thank you for letting us share the information about what we do and why it's important to the community. Let's band together and do so. Again, thank you for coming. We'll see you next year.